Continuing the rebuild of my destroyed dream car, my very rare gated manual Murcielago. We have a huge problem though. The issue is, I don't know if the rest of the car is bent. I may have completely screwed up and bought a car back off insurance that is actually a complete salvage car. I don't know if we can rebuild it. And there is one thing we need to do to get that answer. We need to find out if the rest of the frame is bent or not. And we need to get it off to the frame shop. But we can't get it there because the rear suspension is so destroyed, the car won't even roll on its own wheels. Let me remind you why this car is so special. It is the Lamborghini Murcielago. Yes, V12, beautifully designed. However, there is one key feature that makes this car stand out from all the other Murcielagos in the world, and that is this beautiful gated manual transmission. During this era, Lamborghini introduced paddle shifters, considered e-gear, and the Murcielago was newly equipped with this technology, and most buyers opted for it. But what they didn't tell anybody was that when this model eventually came to its end, the replacement would no longer be ever offered with a manual gearbox. And for whatever reason, most people bought the Murcielago with the e-gear transmission. Even rarer was its later predecessor, this LP640 model, where very, very few people, less than 100 worldwide, ever put a 3-pedal and manual gearbox in it. So this car is ultra rare. It is the last of a dying breed. 3 pedals and a gated shifter matted to that beautiful Lamborghini V12, never to be made again. And here I am literally staring at my dream car destroyed, but hopefully not for long. So it's no mystery that the front clip is destroyed. We basically need to cut this off and weld on a whole new frame. There's nothing salvageable about that. We also need to find out before we even go down that path and spend all this money that I kind of don't have to build this car, but because I love it so much, I have been making certain sacrifices so we could get the funds together to bring this thing back to life. But before I spend that money, is the car actually repairable? You can see we have impact damage on the side of the body, and it has punctured other parts under the car. And down here is the rest of the frame that goes all the way to the front section that had the impact, as well as the side and the other side and the rear suspension. And well, it honestly kind of doesn't really stop with this car. It's been hit on every side. But what we need to know before we spend any money or invest any time is the rest of the frame actually capable of being driven on again? Well, it's got to go to a frame shop. In order to go to a frame shop, Mike, it needs to be rolling.
That's right.
How do we get it rolling? Ta-da!
Fix the knuckle.
He fixed the knuckle. Walk us through how you went ahead and actually re-welded this knuckle that was busted into 2 pieces back into one.
Yeah, so we basically took the 2 parts. This is cast aluminum, so it's super dirty. So we put it in an ultrasonic cleaner, got it cleaned up, got the 2 pieces kind of fit back together, sanded down V-shape, right? So we could get some weld in there, preheated it, welded it all back together, sanded this side down, and it came out pretty good. So we're gonna get this thing back on there. But to do that, we've got to fix this upper control arm that is super twisted. This is how the knuckle mounts in the bottom.
Oh, wow.
And look how far off that is on top.
Holy crap. So this is the upper control arm?
Yep.
And it's supposed to be sitting perfectly on either side of that knuckle.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, you can see that Mike's got his work cut out for him. How do you go ahead and actually try to, are we talking hammers here again or what?
These tubes are pretty stiff. So we're gonna have to put this into a press. There you go. There you go. Dave, you got this.
I actually got you. I got you.
So this is temporary. We'll replace this and we'll actually replace it with new just get it rolling.
We've got to find these parts.
Yeah.
Before we find them and then purchase them and then get them here, that might be weeks, months, I don't know. We got to source those parts.
It's true.
This is a rare car. We want to see what else is damaged, how bad the frame is the transmission broken, what else is damaged, and see if the engine runs.
Right, that's a big risk.
So step 1 is trying to get this car to essentially roll under its own power. That way we don't have to be messing around with dollies. Dollies don't work very well for dragging cars on the trailers. We've tried that in the past. It was awful. So right now, Mike's solution is bend this back. He's welded the knuckle together, bolted all back up, and hopefully we can put a wheel back on this thing and actually roll it around on the floor. The boys have something they want to update me on, something they want to update you on. One of those things is, what is the cost of some of the mechanical repairs that they've already found the prices to? And Mike, I just need to know, like, why are we not just buying this stuff, fixing the car, and then take it to the frame shop after?
We've had issues before where we've bought cars from Copart or something, right? We'll repair the car, get it all ready, start it up, the engine's bad.
Oh.
that puts a big damper on the situation, right?
That would suck.
Before we spend all this money on parts, I want to take this car to the frame shop. I want to see if the engine runs. I want to see if the transmission works. And then we'll know we have a good working car that we can try to repair. Because until that point, if the transmission is damaged, if the engine is bad, and all these other parts are just destroyed, we might just part this car out because it's not worth repairing at that point.
What happens if the frame is actually twisted?
If the frame is twisted, there's a certain point I think that they can bend the frame back into shape. But this is not like a modern car. This is not like a regular car with stamped sheet metal that basically they drill out spot welds and replace sections. This thing is all hand built and it's all square and rectangular tubing. And like a race car with a roll cage in it, once the chassis is bent with the roll cage and the roll cage gets bent, they can't get it to bend back. The chassis is so stiff that it won't come back to its original position without actually ripping and tearing and damaging the tubes. And that's like just beyond repair.
If we get this to the frame shop and this thing is bent past a certain point, it's scrapped. My dream car is done.
Yep.
I actually never really thought of that when I bought this back from insurance. Fingers crossed it's not bent, guys, and stay tuned because in a future episode, we will get that answer. Until then, how much is it to repair some of these cars?
So I found the basic big stuff, the front frame, brake discs, some suspension pieces. There's not a little stuff like hinges. Ironically, like just the front hinges are $400 each.
Which one?
For the hood. The little hinges for the hood are $400 each. And obviously you can tell they're completely mangled.
Mangled.
This hinge right here is $785.
So if we cut this frame off, this alone is how much?
I'll show you. Come here, I'll show you. So it's good news and it's bad news. It's actually a bit of bad news, but come here. So the front frame is $17,000. It's new, it's in stock. We can get that.
$17,136. Wow.
Your brakes, your damaged carbon ceramic brakes.
Yes.
For two of them, you have to place two of them. They're $5,800 each.
So that's 11 grand.
Look right here. It says Lamborghini new special order, which means they don't have this stock.
What do you mean Lamborghini new special order?
So when I emailed about some parts, they said there's no ETA from Lamborghini. They'll put the order through. We pay for it, put the order through, and they'll let us know when it's ready. But there's no ETA. So that could be months, that could be years. I've got two rear shock absorbers, $2,700 for the pair. Track control arm stabilizer, a few of those components we're looking at right now.
$2,550.
But those are all pieces of it. So like what we're looking at in that back corner, these are all sections of it. It's not the full assembly. Right now for all the stuff I have on here, we are at $50,000 US.
And we still don't have all the parts on it.
The issue is when you see new in stock, we're okay. When it says new special order, means it's not available. By the way, you know what your hood is for this car?
The hood?
Guess how much the hood is? I'll look at.
$1,000.
No, dude, look. That's the hood.
How's the hood that little
$13,000
for the hood?
And a special order, so they don't have one.
The biggest issue.
Have you seen the size of it? It's the smallest hood of any car, probably on any car.
And it's just aluminum. It's not carbon.
Any car on any car? It's aluminum.
It's aluminum. Or
Damn.
in the UK, they call it aluminium. Then you have things like that headlight. That headlight, they don't make them anymore. They won't make any new ones. No one really sells them by themselves, usually in pairs. So it'll add on and on and on. So to Mike's point,
Stop ruining my day and start making my day better. Can we at least put that back together and see if we can get the car rolling?
Yes.
Let's
Let's
do
work
it.
on that.
All right, well, Dave's ruining my day. Let's see if Mike can't make it a little bit better. He's gonna put the rear suspension back together with that knuckle he repaired, and they're gonna try to use the hydraulic press to straighten out that upper control arm. Fingers crossed, guys, that this all goes well. Is it bent?
Oh, it's definitely bent. I'm trying to like...
Look at it. It's so twisted. I know you're looking at it going, which way do you try to bend it back?
Yeah, I mean, so the biggest problem is I've got to try to not move these, right? Because that's where it's bolting onto the chassis. So I can't get these twisted, otherwise it won't go back together, but I've got to get this part twisted.
Does this go down or does that go up?
Yeah, maybe a combo.
Did you just flip it over when I asked you that question? My gosh, you guys. I hope we don't screw this up when we put it into the hydraulic press, because if this gets broken, there's no moving this car until I spend some real money and buy a new part. And buying new parts, as you know, could be a complete waste of time and money. Maybe not salvageable in the end. It's supposed to be flat, right? Like all these points should be touching the ground right now?
Yes, it should all be flat and level.
This looks like Dave was just pointing out the impact has pushed this weld like inward. It's almost pinching and crimping that corner of the steel.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get it in the press, figure out a way to get it back into shape enough to get it on the car. The other option I have is I could basically get David to jump on it.
I've lost too much weight, guys. I've lost too much weight. 20-ton hydraulic bottle jack. Okay.
One of the...
By the way, are there any safety hazards of this flying out when we do this?
Yes.
Like for real? Like,
No, for real. It's yeah. You know, this isn't bolted down. It's kind of skating around up here, and
yeah,
you're putting
like shoot out.
Yeah, it could pop out in any direction.
Lighting department.
Everybody stand around.
There you go. Safety first, buddy. Let's go. There you go.
I don't think that I can get this thing into the press and bend it back into shape without bending other stuff out of whack at the same time.
Really?
So I think what I'm gonna have to do is cut the tubes, sit them back into the car, put the knuckle on it, tack weld it all into place, pull it off, weld it up. That's gonna take a couple hours, but it's gonna save us, you know, from having to buy another one and wait for it to get here so that we can get the car on the ground and get its frame shop.
You guys put this in here, put a bar across it, like put it like a bar right here, and it'll push it all down. Like that, won't it? Mm-hmm. No?
No.
No?
Yep.
Oh, we have a steel plate sitting on top of the control arm. We've applied some of the pressure and it's kind of working. It's kind of still really bent, but it's kind of working, kind of. And we're gonna try to twist this back because that is really bent. Bigger bar. Definitely sandwich that flatter.
Yeah, this is starting to twist into shape now.
Sick. We're driving a car today, Damon.
You are. I wish. Twist a little?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, we got some leverage now, boys.
That's why he's.
Hey, you bent it. I saw that.
Looks like it's lined up now.
No way. Hey.
Look through the hole there and kind of eyeball that other hole.
I see red from the cabinet. That's good. Hey, good job. That's still good, right?
That one's okay.
And then we just got to see if that lines up with the mounts on the chassis, right?
Basically, this looks level,
Yeah.
and those look pretty level back there. So we might put this back on the car, torch it again if we need to twist it anymore.
Else, the frame's bent, bro. We just torched the whole car.
Torch the car.
You want to see something really crazy? It pulled it out. Oh, shit. Actually pulled it out of the corner. It's actually pretty crazy.
Like, you know what you're doing?
No, even he was shocked.
Oh, were you shocked?
Now, look at it. Flat to the ground. Which corner did you torch? That one? Is it still hot?
This one's still pretty warm.
Now it's flat, all four touching the ground.
Yeah, it's real close. So we might have to do a little bit more, but it's.
Let's not buy a new piece. This one's good to
Throw
go.
it in, let's go.
Yeah, let's see if it fits.
Shut up. Dave's willing to roll the dice on my life.
Money, man. I need a squad torsion to build.
2 G's, you just want to roll the dice on that. Well, moment of truth.
Yeah, I want to see if it bolts in first before we worry about shims.
Will this moment of truth go through?
Oh! You got one, baby.
Got one.
Dude.
Do we have twins? What? What?
What?
Do we have one, baby? Do we have
What?
twins?
Oh, I got you.
Reminds me of my Civic days. Line up to the hammer.
A press. We need a press back in
Not the
day.
car. Oh!
Hey!
Mike, you're almost there. You're in.
It's in.
Dude.
Oh my God.
And I mean,
I take back everything I said about you.
Holy
not
crap.
all of it.
I want to know.
stuff.
I want to know if the knuckle fits now.
Yeah,
because
let's
that's really the moment of truth. All right, this is it. A major piece of the puzzle of getting this car rolling, so we can get it to the frame shop.
Baby, come on, baby.
Let's
Yeah!
One in.
That's one side. That's one side.
But can you get the top to line up? This is the real, dude. I'm telling you.
That's looking pretty.
How freaking close is that?
Get the other.
All things considering, look how excited you are.
This is like it's going together.
you
We're gonna
gotta
get
give
this
it-
thing on the ground.
That damn plate idea I had, you gotta give it to me.
Come on, baby.
Dude, if it just slides through, I'm going to laugh.
Come on, baby.
Give me the hammer.
It's close. Give me the hammer, he said. Hey!
That's really impressive.
Dude,
Like,
I'm not gonna lie. I'm actually shocked. He's shocked too. He's shocked too. That's crazy. The press, a little heat, a little
sensor's good.
a little pushing, a little pulling, a little prying. Boom. A little welding.
welding. We got this corner back together.
Dude, I'm excited because this thing could actually roll.
Yeah.
If it rolls, we're only like an oil cooler away from starting it. If it starts in the engine and trans is okay.
And we can drive this thing.
Oh my God.
Dude, even if the frame's bent, I'm driving it with a bent frame. We're going through the drive-through like the new Hummer EV crab walk. I gotta drive this through a freaking drive-through. Well, I have to admit, against all odds, we got it put back together. This is, you guys, a huge win and the first of hopefully many to getting this very rare piece of history back on the road. Oh, this is a big moment. The ceramic rotor goes back on. on. The gentlemen are going to reassemble all the braking system and should be able to bolt the wheel back on.
Yep.
Oh man!
We put this thing on the ground on all 4 wheels.
The question is, do we put it back on the 20-inch Brixtons or do we attempt to put on the stock Murcielago 18s?
Well, this wheel is pretty damaged.
Stock
So,
wheels?
stock wheels.
Let's try the stock wheels.
OEM.
Just look at the size of that caliper compared to Mike's head. Those are big brakes.
They're massive.
To be fair, Mike has a really small head, so.
I actually have a pretty big end. My helmets are extra large.
Oh, I'm getting really excited now. This is a really big moment, to be honest. I didn't know if we were gonna accomplish this. Tuck up all the little crap so we don't run anything over and rip it out. Yep. Obviously the wires. We'll put this thing on the ground. For the first time, this thing is gonna be on the ground and capable of rolling under its own power, which doesn't seem like a big deal. But when this car originally lost control, it hit a pole, spun around and hit a fire hydrant and basically destroyed every side of this car, including that wheel. And ever since that fateful day, this car couldn't even move.
How long ago was that? Like a year
14
ago?
months.
14 months ago. Over a year. And it's still got.
Could use a detail.
Dude, historic moment. Let's go. I'm so excited.
I just want to see this thing actually sitting on its own wheels.
And with the original LP640 wheels back on for the first time in the history of me ever having this car. I have never had these wheels on the car. From the day I took delivery of this vehicle, it came with a set of 5-spoke HREs, which I then later swapped out for the Brixtons, which then got destroyed, and we finally have the OEM wheel back on. So with the car back on the ground on its own 4 wheels, the next step is getting it over to the frame shop. But Mike actually has a little surprise in store, and he wants to jump a few steps. And before we even take it to the frame shop, hit him with the good news.
All right, so tomorrow morning I'm gonna make an oil cooler bypass so we can get that closed up. We're gonna put some oil in it. We're gonna crank it over, but not start it. We're gonna circulate the oil, right?
Okay.
Then we're gonna drain that oil.
Okay.
Pull that filter, check it, make sure there's no debris in there.
Right.
If everything looks good there, put fresh oil, a new filter on it, a new battery, fire this thing up, and then drive it around.
And drive it around. Bro. Guys, smash the subscribe button. Thanks for coming on this journey with us. We have a long way to go, obviously, before this thing is 100% back on the road, but we made some monumental steps just today. The fact that we even have this rear section back on, it honestly blows my mind. And I know we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, but you guys, this is giving me a little bit of hope for this car to be back on the street. Have you seen the brakes on the Urus?
Oh yeah, biggest.
The Lamborghini SUV?
Oh no, not up close, no.
I don't know if anything's broken that record, but it held the record for the largest brakes on a production vehicle.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they were bigger than Bugatti brakes. Dave, Google the specs.
Hey Siri, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?